Hi there. I am reading the Constitutions and Bylaws changes pursuant to us having a meeting about that, and according to the way our Constitution and Bylaws reads, whenever we need to address it and we need to adjust it, it needs to be read 2 weeks in advance, and I'm taking care of that now. This way, putting it online. It'll be up for 2 weeks for 2 Sundays prior to us having our meeting. And so what I'm planning to do right now is read all of the changes, and if I feel that I need to explain just a tiny bit about what those changes are for, I will do that. I'm not going to necessarily read through the entire Constitution and Bylaws. Again, I'm just going to be giving you what the changes are. So, to begin with, right in Article 1 under the title, it says, "This church shall be called the Ashland Advent Christian Church of Ashland, Maine." Currently, we call the title of this church is the Advent Christian Church of Ashland, and we're changing it because everybody calls it the Ashland Advent Christian Church. Now, that requires us to reincorporate. It's a $10 fee to do that, and we're planning to do that if the church is in agreement and we make this change. So just so you're aware of that. Under Article 2, the object. This is all new. The object of this church shall be to maintain the public worship of God according to the example and teaching of the Bible, to emphasize Christ's second coming, the resurrection of the body, and life everlasting through Christ only, to promote an evangelistic and missionary spirit, and to labor for the salvation of lost souls. Under Article 3, officers, we have included the officers of this church shall be 2 or more deacons and deaconesses, clerk, treasurer. We've added trustees, Sunday school superintendent, youth director, assistant treasurer, youth treasurer, and a pastor when one is in charge. The deacons, deaconesses, clerk, treasurer, trustees, Sunday school superintendent, youth director, and or youth treasurer, assistant treasurer, and a pastor when one is in charge shall constitute an official board. The and or youth treasurer is the new part of this. And finally, the last one that I'm going to read under officers is all officers shall be elected by ballot at the annual business meeting and hold their office for 1 year or until their successors are elected. The rotating system can be used, and we're changing the word must be used to can be used in electing the trustees, electing 1 trustee each year. Under Article 4, duties of officers, we've done a tiny bit of work here. We have a deacon, and we've added and or deaconess shall preside at all business meetings of the church or official board, or a pastor when one is in charge. The deacons and or deaconesses, we've added that as well, in the absence of the pastor, shall take charge of the religious services, serve in matters pertaining to the Lord's Supper, make preparations for and assist at baptisms, visit the sick, poor, and delinquent members. Basically, what we did here is put the deacons and deaconesses together in one piece. Under those things for the duties of officer. We've also put the duties of the assistant treasurer. We've dealt with the treasurers and how those are handled, so everybody knows specifically. I'm going to give you what we've written for the role of the treasurer and the assistant treasurer. The assistant treasurer shall collect all funds, deposit all funds, and keep written record. The treasurer shall disperse funds to cover church operational costs as approved by the board. Report the same when requested to do so, giving a general report at the annual meeting. The official board shall consider all applications of membership and report same to the church for action. And here's the part that's changed. The official board will answer all questions as brought before them relating to the church or Sunday school. Just so that you know what part of the duties of the official board are. Under Article 5, membership, we have a couple of things in here that we've made some adjustments to. Some of it is just in modernizing the language, and so for that, I'll read the whole section that it's in and tell you what the changes were. A 2/3 vote by all members present at the Holy Communion service or any church business meeting shall be necessary to admit an applicant to membership. And when accepted, his or her name shall be entered on the church book, and he or she may receive the right hand of fellowship. So again, it was always in male-only language before, and so we've included it, made it much more inclusive. The other big piece that we've done and changed here in membership is recognizing and stating what a member in good standing is. So let me read what we have written there. Member in good and regular standing, hereinafter referred to as active members, are those members who consistently support the church through their presence in the fellowship and financial support of the ministries of the church. Continued willful neglect of attendance and support shall be grounds for being placed on the inactive membership list, thereby losing the privilege of office or vote in the church. At least annually, the deacons and or deaconesses and pastor, when one is in charge, will determine who shall be active and inactive members of the church. Prior to a person being placed on the inactive list, he or she shall be contacted for the purpose of reactivating. If during a 6-month period the member does not respond favorably, he or she shall be notified of his or her inactive status. Under Article 6, under meetings, we put in here that quarterly business meetings shall be held in April, July, and October. The change here is from having a specific date in those months to just making sure that those are held during those months. And that gives us the flexibility to put them when we need to and not have to be always worried about things. Also under meetings, there are a couple of other changes. Vacancies in any office may be filled at any business meeting called as per Article 4, Sections 1 and 2. And again, we made that adjustment because a lot of our article numbers changed based upon some of these other adjustments we've made. And finally, under meetings, we put that 35% of active members shall constitute a quorum for transaction of business at regular business meetings. So at present, that constitutes 6 members for a quorum, just so that you're aware. That's down from 12. We had a number listed in there of 12, and we went with a percentage. That way, as our membership goes up or down, we will just adjust that number, and generally that should put us in a number that we can always have act. And again, that's the active members. Under Article 8, Sunday school. The Sunday school and all other organizations connected with the church shall be an auxiliary of the church. And there were some questions about what exactly that was. And so we put in parentheses support, because that's what an auxiliary does. They support, they come alongside of, and they support the church. And so that little word was inserted in there. Under Article 9, discipline. I want to read the article as it was originally written. It said, the rule of discipline for this church shall be the word and the spirit of the following scriptures. And then it listed Galatians 6:1, Matthew 5:23 and 24, and Matthew 18:15 to 17. And what we've done is written them out so that there's no question about what it is. And that is Galatians 6:1 says, brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently. But watch yourselves, or you also may be tempted. Matthew 5:23 and 24 says, therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled to them. Then come and offer your gift. And finally, in Matthew 18:15 to 17, if your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault, just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you've won them over. But if they will not listen, take 1 or 2 others along, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. If they still refuse to listen, tell it to the church. And if they refuse to listen, even to the church, treat them as you would a pagan or a tax collector. And our final one is Article 11, which we did not have before, and that's our dissolution clause, which, believe it or not, is the reason why we started looking into our bylaws. And the dissolution clause that needs to be in there for us to get our tax exempt status back is this: no members shall be entitled to share in the distribution of any of the assets in the event of the corporation's dissolving. This is all of the changes that are going to take place to our Constitution and bylaws. And again, if you want a written copy, check with me. If you want, I'll be announcing on Sunday all of the rest of these pieces in terms of letting people know that where they can come to find this. And so I hope that this covers everything that we need to. Thank you.